And so whether it's Trump or could be DeSantis or Ramaswamy or whatever, right? Or whether it's Biden or Obama, Michelle, or Newsom, really it doesn't matter, because what we're dealing with, in my opinion, is a communist revolution that I believe we're right in the middle of. And if we pay attention to communist revolutions of the past, everything that's been happening over the course of the last 15 to 20 years, and if we really dig deep, it's been going on for almost 100 years, has been geared towards the precipice of what these globalists, the Klaus Schwab World Economic Forum globalist types, are calling Agenda 2030, right? And we saw this accelerated with COVID. We saw that we're seeing our rights being trampled on. We're seeing people in other countries get sentenced to actual jail for misgendering people or speaking out. And these are all things that weren't happening just even 5 years ago. And so we have this big shift of these globalists towards this communist revolution that's happening here in America. So, like, in my opinion, it's less important about who the candidate is, because we only have certain choices, right? Like, yeah, we could sit here and criticize Trump and we could say, I fucking don't like this and that and this. Or we can criticize DeSantis. I don't like this and that and this. Or we could say Ramaswamy, oh, he's this or that, right? Or we can go over here and talk to Biden. But at the end of the day, we have to make a choice. And the choice is, we're either going to go this way or we're going to go this way. We're either going to go the way of more censorship, more big government, more control over us, less freedom for us, more stress financially, more stress economically, higher costs of goods, more pressure, our kids being manipulated and taught things that we don't necessarily want them to do as parents, or we're going to go this other way. And this other way is, more towards the traditional way that America has been over the history of America. And if I'm being honest, I think that way, the way of the conservative, because I'm neither. People mistake this a lot of times. They say I'm conservative. I'm not a conservative. I'm a libertarian moderate in the middle who happens to lean conservative because I'm not a communist.
Well, they push so far the other way.
Correct. So I'm against communism and I'm against progressivism and I'm against shit that doesn't make sense. And so for that, reason, I look to the right. Yeah. And when I look to the right and I look at who the candidates are, the only person that has a chance to be the nominee without some drastic interference is Trump. So that's the reality we're dealing with, right? It's Trump or this other path, whether that be Biden, Newsom, or Michelle Obama. And this other path is elite tyrants oppressing the rest of us and getting the rest of us to hate each other for the rest of our lives, taking everything from us in higher taxes, a squeezed in economic, quote unquote free economy that's not even free, that's owned by the biggest conglomerates in the world, where their culture is pushed down into our communities through their business structure. This is happening. This happens, through ESG and DEI and CEI and all these things that we talk about. It's culture. And so when we look at culture and what we want, we have to decide, do we want this new culture where, these people are bussed in from these other countries that aren't American and don't share our values, and it's in the sake and for the benefit of whom and what? Because never have we been told ever how that benefits us. They say, oh, it's just diversity. Well, this diversity for the sake of being diverse isn't necessarily a good thing. Yeah. All right. Diversity doesn't equal good. All right. There's American culture, and American culture doesn't have to do with skin tone. Right. It has to do with a set of values that we all believe in. All right. So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Indian, it doesn't matter. Right. But if you have this value system of being an American and you believe in the things like, what America has traditionally stood for, which is equal opportunity, the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of a higher level life, better than our parents, and leaving the country in a better place than it is, making the most of our life, the American dream, all of these things, that's America, bro. Treating your neighbor, regardless of what their race is, as a fellow American, that's the culture of America. And the left is destroying that intentionally and not giving us any reason as to why. Right. Okay. Right. So my inclination is to look over here and say, okay, well, we definitely need to go down this path, but here's how I feel about it. I don't feel that any of these candidates on the right, and by the way, if the candidates are fucking whoever, I'm voting on the right because it's the opposite of what the they got going on. That's our choice. But how I actually feel about it is that, like, we have a lot to fix and a lot to clean up. And it's not just, let's go to the conservative side. Like, there's major reformation that needs to happen in this country.
Way before the election.
Bro, it's before and after the election, right? We should not be taxed at a rate of higher than 50% when we add up all the tax that we pay over the course of the year, which is the case for every single person that pays taxes. It's not just income tax. It's not just your withholding tax. It's when you buy gas. It's when you buy a car. It's your personal property tax. It's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these things add up to more than 50%, which makes you a fucking slave. All right? You don't understand that. Most people don't get it. You are a slave of the United States, and the United States government is intended to serve us. We are not intended to serve them. So it's backwards right now. We're serving them. They're not serving us. And so, like, our taxes need to go down to a reasonable level. The government needs to shrink to a reasonable level. New reforms need to be made in terms of, term limits and, old laws and over litigious society. Like, there's so much change that needs to happen that I'm not sure that even the voting of the right can fix it. But here's what I think. I think voting of the right can stop the progress of this communist action, which gives us a chance to maybe turn America into what it's supposed to be. And that's how I feel about things. Like, when I say I'm voting for Trump, people say, oh, you're a Trump, loyalist. No, actually, I'm not. If you listen to my show, I criticize him plenty. There's a lot of things he does wrong. There's a lot of things he could do right now that if he came out and did, the entire country will unite around him. But he refuses to do it and doesn't do it the proper way. And he's got bad people around him giving him bad advice who are out of touch with the reality of the people on the street, the pain they're feeling, and what they actually want from a leader. Okay? We don't want this shit where you come on TV and give us this fucking walk the line shit. When someone asks you if a man is a man and a woman is a woman, we want you to say fucking yes. Not, well, that makes people not trust you. Right? When you take money from the vaccine companies and then promote a vaccine where there's many people that I know and many people that you know and many people that these guys know have gotten sick and fucked up, and you continue to come on the fucking television and talk about how safe it is and how effective it is and how you did it, that pisses people the fuck off, bro. And there's a lot of shit that fucking pisses me off about how they do things over there. But at the end of the day, do I want fucking American culture or do I want communist culture? I want American culture. So I'm going to ride that way. And that's how I feel about it. And so I do think they're going to steal the election. And I do think they're going to fucking defraud the people. And I do think they're going to do that because they understand that if culture goes back towards American constitutional republic style culture, by the letter of the law, traitors are executed and imprisoned. And they understand that that's who they are. That's why they call people like me and other people who are just common sense Americans who want things to get better, domestic terrorists, and put us on watch lists and have our own government listen to our phone calls. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, bro, that's fucking wrong. Okay, so when we think about what we're dealing with here, we're dealing with a situation that if we don't fucking come out on the American culture side of things this next election, I don't think America survives in the way that we've known it.
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand what that means. We've seen how many examples of this in the last 2 weeks. Like, how many of these far left progressive activists have literally gotten killed in the streets by crime?
By their own beliefs.
Correct. Okay. They're wrong. That the progressive ideology is wrong. It's fucking wrong. It doesn't work. It's called idealism. That's why this show is called Real as Fuck, because we're realists here. All right? There's way things work and there's way things don't work. And this progressive ideology that criminals in this country are just somehow disadvantaged and that's why they commit crime is not fucking true. There's such a thing as bad fucking people. All right? And bad people come in all races and all sizes and all backgrounds from all countries. We have bad people and we have good people. Bad people are going to have to be withdrawn from society. They're going to have to be imprisoned or executed or removed from this country. That is a fucking reality that no one wants to say. And we have all these bleeding heart people that want to say, well, they didn't grow up like we did. Bro, because they grew up in a McMansion out in the suburbs somewhere. All right. They've never touched real crime. They've never been around real hardship. And those people feel guilty for how they were raised, not and making a massive mistake that these other people that they're sympathizing for will actually fucking kill them to take their shit. Okay. So we have to get real about what's happening in this country and how the world works. The world works like this: natural order. Kill or be killed. The strongest survive. Strength through power. All right? That's the world. Okay, that's the world we live in. High level competition. Good and bad. These are things that are real. And we have so many people in this country that still want to argue over nuance and ideology that's not real. And I think that's a waste of time. I think that's a waste of argument. I think that's a waste of our breath. Like, what are we arguing over? Okay, you don't like this and this and this about Trump, so you're going to vote for Biden? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
you did that last time. How'd that work out for you?
Bro, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I think I think they're going to steal the election, and I think America is going to have a real gut check because I think they're going to steal it right in our faces. I think their goal, they're not hiding any of this shit anymore. They're not like pretending. Like, this is why all these social media influencers that come out and they keep saying, "Oh my God, can you believe this is happening?" Dude, you're helping it happen. You are helping it happen by saying that. These social media influencers that come on the internet every day for likes, clicks, shares, and views to build their own brand so that they can sell some swag. Those people are perpetuating the problem by continuing to pretend like they are surprised that these people continue to do this. These people are doing this. It's intentional. They're not going to stop. And if they get full power, they will kill you. That's reality. So that's how I feel about it.